Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Zulaikha Binti. My matric number is 01DPM18F2028. So today I'll present about the human resource management for the chapter 8. Okay, first is industrial relation. Industrial relation consider the complex interaction among three major elements of work, which is employer, workers and the representative, and the government. Industrial relation, which can be known as IR, focus on the laws and the rules which impact on the work environment. Second, term and condition of work. Third is right and obligation of employers and employees. Fourth is processes by which the rules and terms are made. Concept of industrial relation in Malaysia. Industrial relation comprises of the two terms, which is the first one is industry. Industry, it can be referred to the productive activity in which an individual or group of individuals are engaged. Second is relation, mean the relationship that exists within the industry between the employer and the employees or his workmen. So the industry is more focused on the productive activity that made by the workers, or can be known as an individual or in the group of individual. And the relation is the relationship between the workers and the employees among them. Okay, so that it can be an industrial relation. Industrial relation is a relationship between workers and their employers within the work environment, also known as employee, labor or employment relation. Maimunah Aminuddin, 2007. Okay. Define the concept of industrial relation and tripartite system. Okay. Before that, tripartite system is of the Malaysia has a tripartite system. The national level, decision on policy and legislation are made jointly by representative of the union, the employer and the government. The national level advisory council NLAC is the highest level on which tripartite discussion take place. So the tripartite system is made of the three groups, which is employers and their organization, second employees and their union, and fourth is the government. The difference of the interaction of the three parties is a different country between in different country system of industrial relation. Tripartism is economic corporatism based on tripartite contract between employers, organization, trade and union, and the government of a country. Each is to act as a social partner to create economic policy through cooperation, consultation, negotiation and compromise. Okay. Identify the relevant act with regard to industrial relation. So, the act that I found is the Industrial Relation Act 1967. And this act is developed on 7th of August 1967. The Industrial Relation Act is one of the major law governing employment relation in Malaysia, which contains, among others, the provision on representation on unfair dismissal, claim for recognition by a trade union and collective bargaining. This act also is to promote and maintain industrial harmony and provide the regulation of the relation between employers and workmen and their trade union. That means this act is to maintain the industrial harmony within the workmen and the employer themselves. Also, it provides the prevention and settlement of any difference or dispute arising from their relationship and generally to deal with trade dispute and matters related to it. So this act also contain the prevention and settlement if any different dispute arising within the relationship between the employers and the workmen. Okay, purpose of Industrial Act 1967 is to maintain a good relationship and fair dealing between employers, workmen and trade union. Purpose of Industrial Act 1967 is to maintain a good relationship and fair dealing between employers, workmen and the trade union. Second, to provide specific remedies that are not available in common law or the Employer Act 1955. The third is to provide a private sector employers. Okay. Next. Okay, next is a Trade Union Act 1959. Okay, Trade Union Act is to control activities of trade union so that they can develop in an orderly and peaceful manner. The Act laid down stringent statutory and procedural provision for the formation and operation of trade union in Malaysia. Okay, in Malaysia, they have three types of trade union for employees. First is public sector trade union for employees of the private sector, and the last type is the trade of employers. Malaysian Employer Federation (MEF) safeguard and the right of interest of employers. This act stipulates regulation covering all aspects of employment of workers. Among provisions covered are termination, working hours, maternity and the sick leave, benefits and wages payment. The provision aims to safeguard against exploitation by employers. The specific coverage is include to provide minimum benefit for those workers covered by the Act. Second, to establish certain right for employers. Okay, so the Trade Union Act is for more to the employer that can provide the provision of the cover for determination, working hours, maternity, sick leave and benefits and wages payment. So the specific coverage for the Trade Union 1959 is to provide minimum benefit for those workers covered by the Act, and the second is to establish certain right for employers. The third is to establish certain right for employees. So that this Trade Union Act 1956 is not to the employees but it's also to the employees also. Okay, next. The third is Employment Act 1955. Okay, Employment Act 1955 already speak the trade union. So the Employment Act set out certain minimum benefit that afford to applicable employees. It can deal with the contract of service, payment of wages, employment of women, maternity protection. Okay, for the other benefit for Employment Act 1955 is working hours, overtime, rest day, annual leave, public holiday, sick leave, complaints and termination and a layoff benefit. The Employment Act 1955 can be same to the the Employment Act 1955 can be same to the Trade Union Act 1959 because the Employment Act 1955 is actually more to the employer to the employees, so that the Trade Union Act 1959 is to both to the employers and the employees. Okay, the role of Ministry of Human Resource in Industrial Relations. First, to update the implement labor policies and laws. Second, to update the implement occupational safety, health policy and law. Third, to efficiently manage and independently resolve industrial dispute between employer and employees. Fourth, to monitor and facilitate development and movement of trade unions. Fifth, to manage international relations in labor management field, technical cooperation in labor-related matters and human resources development. Sixth is to encourage and coordinate tripartism among employees. Okay, 7. To plan and develop human resource through control and labor market analysis. 8. To create job opportunities and job replacement. 9. To update and effective implement of social safety facility. 10. To update and implement national vocational training policy and strategy. Okay. Next, we move to 8.2. Establishment of trade union in organization. So, define trade union in organization. Trade union in an organization that made up of the members, and its membership must be made up mainly of workers. Trade union, that also called as labor union, is one association of workers that created for company and industry to make sure about workers is paid, get benefit, their working condition is good, their social and political life through collective bargaining. Trade union is to aim to protect and advance the interest in its member in a workplace. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mohd Syahmi, and my metric number 01DPM 18F2022, and I will talk about the 8.2.3, the person who are prohibited from becoming a member of trade union. Who can join a union? By law, any worker is allowed to join a trade union, and your employer cannot push you for joining up. Equally, you don't have to join a union at all if you don't want to. You can join any union you're eligible for. That usually means any union that represent your industry under the section 26, 27 and 27A of Trade Union Act 1959. The following class of the person who are prohibited from being member of a union. First is any person who are below the age of 16 years old, any student of an education institution established by or under any written law, unless he is also employed as an employee and is over the age of 18 years old. Any person employed is in the establishment or industry or trade or occupation in respect. Union is registered, and any public officer unless exempted by Yang di-Pertuan Agong. However, certain group of government employees is not allowed to join trade union at all. Member of the armed force, police force, and any prison service, public officer prohibit under any law from forming or joining a union. Public official employed in an confidential or security capacity. Public official holding any post in the management and professional group.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hafizuddin bin Shamsul Bahar. My metric number is 01DPM18F2030. So today I will continue the presentation on type of trade union. So the first type is in-house trade union. So in-house trade union are formed by workers in a company or organization whereby members is confined to employees in the particular company. Workers of statutory bodies and local authorities are limited by law to performing this type of union, also called as private sector or national union. So in-house trade union create close relationship between employer and union that lead to a more peaceful industrial relation. Also, cooperative spirit develop will lead to higher productivity. Next is public sector trade union. So a public sector trade union, or also called public sector labor union, is a trade union which primarily represent the interests of employees within the public sector or governmental organization. Consists of civil service, the statutory bodies, and also local authorities. And lastly is employer trade union. So employers can also form union or association as they are commonly called. In those industrial where a well-organized employees union exists, the employer are more likely to form an association of their own. An employer organization or employees association is a collective organization or manufacturer, retailer, or other employers of which labor. Employers union is a response to the large and powerful nation trade union of employees. To secure the organization of all employers. That's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Norsyuhaida Binti Zahari and my matrix number is 01DPM18F2027. Today I would like to present about the reason why the workers want to join trade union. The first reason is because of wages. They want to ensure that they get a fair wages at par, like others company. Second reason because of the supervision. They want to get a general advice and support from the trade union. The third one, benefit, which is they want to get a better working condition and also get a training for a new skill to improve themselves.
These are the concept of collective bargaining in the organization. The definition, the process in which labor union leadership enter into the good faith negotiation with management representative over the terms of employment such as work hours, pay and job security, or collective bargaining consists of negotiation between an employer and a group of employees in order to determine the condition of employment. These are like from you enter to the job, they will give work hours or we call shift and pay or salary. The result of collective bargaining procedure is a collective agreement. Employees are often represented in bargaining by union or labor organization. It is a process negotiation between the representative of workers, usually labor union official, and the management of an organization to determine the condition of employment. The agreement reached may cover not only wages but hiring practice, layoff, promotion, working condition and hours, and also benefit program. In Malaysia, collective bargaining is controlled by the Industrial Relation Act 1967, which is the negotiation and discussion to reach an agreement on collective bargaining which give and benefit to the employer, trade union members and non-members. Okay, so these are the collective bargaining process. These are the step-by-step process from the first and to the last. So the first is the set bargaining issues. The second is preparing for negotiation the issues, overcome the impasse or breakdowns, reaching the agreement, ratifying the agreement, and the last is the administration of the agreement. Okay, the collective bargaining process. The first is the set bargaining issues. Bargaining issues can be divided into the three categories. The first is the mandatory, permissive, and the prohibit. The mandatory bargaining issues that fall within the definition of the wages, hours, and the other terms and the condition of the employment. The second is the permissive bargaining issues that may be raised, but neither side may insist that they be bargaining over. And the third is the prohibit bargaining issues that are statutorily outlawed from the collective bargaining. Okay, the second of the process, collective bargaining, is the preparing for negotiation. Both the representative of each party prepares the negotiation to be carried out during the meeting, Each member should be well versed with the issues to be raised at the meeting and should have adequate knowledge to the labor laws. And the third is the negotiation the issues. Begin with each side presenting initial demand, require give and take for each side, and each side does not expect to obtain all demand presented. Okay, the fourth is the overcome the impasse or breakdown. Make a strategy for overcoming the breakdowns. Ask the party if they agree to set the issue aside temporarily and go on to something else, and ask the party to explain their perspective on why they appear to be an impasse. And the five is the reaching the agreement. The document that emerged from the collective bargaining process is known as a labor management agreement, or we call the contract. It's regulated the relationship between the employer and employees for a specific period of time. It is still an essential but difficult task because each agreement is unique and there is no standard or universal model. Okay, the number six is the ratifying the agreement. Ratifying contract is the act of approving the term and the condition that are being spelled out in the document. For example, if you go on vacation and provide permission to an employee to sign a contract on your behalf, you may be then asked to ratify it. Ratification by the union is the process by which members of the bargaining unit vote to accept or reject the terms of the collective agreement that the university and the union have negotiated. The number seven is the administration of the agreement. The administering the contract is a day-to-day activities. Ideal, the aim both management and the union is to make agreement work to the benefit of all concerned. At times, this is not an easy task. Management is primarily responsible for explaining the and implementing the agreement. This is process should begin with the meeting for or training session, not only to point out significant features but also to provide a clause by clause analysis of the contract.
Okay, back to me, Norsyuhaida. Okay, I would like to present about the industrial action in an organization. Okay, industrial action is an act done either by employee or an employer which prevent the operational of contract of employment. Okay, method of industrial action is consists of three, which is picket, strike, and also lockout. Okay, picket is a person or a group of people who stand outside a workplace or other venues as a protest or try to persuade others not to enter during the strike. Okay, this situation can be seen when workers carry a placard outside a workplace with an angry slogan. Okay, strike is an action taken caused by a dispute between trade union members and also the employer. Okay, it is a refusal to work by the employees until the dispute has been resolved. Okay, this is some of the reasons why people might do a strike. The first one is big changes in the workplace, which is maybe the employer will have come out with the new regulations which is out of sudden. Okay, the second one is pension. They not get the pension as they expected. Okay, the third one, working condition, which is they have to work under pressure. The fourth one is pay. They have been paid not according what have they done. Okay, lack of communication between employer and also employees can cause strike. Okay, working hours is referred to the working hours that have been stated in the regulation, but the employer does not follow. Okay, before hold a strike, a trade union needs to have a ballot. Okay, it needs to be supervised by a qualified independent person if the ballot is over 50 members. Held before the union, ask the members to take action. Okay, Open to all union members. Okay, it is a postal ballot. All the information about the ballot needs to be stated. Okay, the result of the ballot and the number for those who vote must be available afterward. Okay, needs to give the employer 1 week notice to start a ballot. Okay, this is some rights during the strike. Okay, an employer will mostly not pay for the hour missed when an employee take industrial action during the working hour. Okay, employer can sue the employee who take action if it's breaking the contract. Okay, the worker cannot be dismissed if an illegal because it has been proper organized ballots took place before the strike. Lockout is a denial of employment initiated by the management of a company during a labor dispute. Okay, a work stoppage where the employer stops workers from working. Okay, management will shut down the operational to prevent the union employees from working.
On 8.5 is define industrial dispute in organization. So industrial dispute means any dispute of difference between employees and employers, or between employers and workmen, or between workmen and workmen, which is connected with the employment or non-employment of the term of employment or the condition of work of any person. Next is demonstrate procedure in solving industrial dispute. So the first procedure is direct negotiation. So direct negotiation means it is a dispute resolution process that involves an exchange of offer and counter offer by parties, or a discussion of strength and weakness or the merits of the parties' positions without the use of a third person. Next is mediation. So mediation is an attempt to settle dispute with the help of outsider who attempt to stimulate labor and management to reach some type of agreement. The mediator, unlike an arbitrator, cannot decide the issue. He listens, suggests, communicates, and persuades. He does not give any award. Next is conciliation. So conciliation is a merely the bringing together by a third party the two parties in disputes. And the last is arbitration. So arbitration is resorted to by the parties fail to arrive at settlement by voluntary method. The parties to the dispute may then appoint an arbitrator and refer the dispute to him. The arbitration. So the arbitration award in binding upon the parties who referred the dispute to arbitration. Arbitration can be either voluntary or compulsory. The employer and employee may agree to settle the dispute by appointing independent and impartial person. That's all. Thank you.